Good day, my dear ones. It is such a pleasure to always spend time with you. Sometimes I'm getting too busy to spend a lot of time, but boy, I would sure like to spend more time. But we're working on it. We're working on a lot of good projects. The seminar, we're working on this seminar we've got coming up. This is exciting. So I hope I can have a chance to meet a lot of you guys there. I think we're shooting for Orlando. We're trying to nail down the hotel. And be fun for you. Come over, and all the parks are there, Disney parks and Universal Studios. You got everything over there. More than enough stuff to have fun and do. It'll be fun. Seminars are fun. We'll have a lot of workshops, creative arts. See if we can get some musicians going here. So I want to go ahead and get some Q&A done. I'm going to do real short videos. It's easier, I know, for you to deal with, and so I'll do real short ones. It's almost time that I have to run anyway, but I've got a few minutes, and I'm so stacked up with your questions, I apologize, but you're all doing such a good job. We get so many good reports in here. You know, you're always having ups and downs in this world, and you can see why I've been adamant with keeping things as simple and as pure as possible, because a lot of you are seeing how easy it is to sway off the path. And it's okay, you know. I mean, the thing in our field is if you sway a little bit, it can't hurt you too bad. Now, with that said, you've got, let's say, the medical diagnosis of cancer or neurologicals or things. There's some things you just don't want to do. There are certain things that are counterproductive to your wellness, and that would be yogurts and dairy products and proteins and things like this. Those that are in trouble or in pain, there are certain things you might not want to do, because not smart. But, people have not thought how important it is, diet, and I appreciate the individual that took that off of there, made a cute little poster out of that. And it's true. I get the fact that people don't want to change their diets. I get that. But you got to, or you got to suffer. That's just the two ways about it. You can't have your cake and eat it too, as they say. So you can have some cake once in a while, but you got to see what's going down. Don't burn dirty fuel, and that's what we're doing. We're burning dirty fuel that has residues and a mucus response. So we're getting full of mucus and full of proteins. I just talked with a poor little soul that's been trapped in this body for a long time with MS. When I first got her, her tears burnt her. She cried burning tears. Feet are on fire. A lot of you have called me with that, where you're literally on fire, and that you literally are. That's what acids are. They burn. They hurt. And you got to get them out. There's no magic. People sell supplements and supplements. You got to get these things out. You got to detox yourself. It's so much more important than people realize in dealing with their health issues. You've got to get out of the concept of treatment-based thinking. But I want to tell you guys on Facebook and all this, you can use our names all you want. We have no problems with that. Matter of fact, we all want to work as one. Once in a while, there might be a trouble spot. If we get too many complaints, then we're just going to try to address it and deal with it. But they wouldn't let that be addressed. That's all that is. So all you guys, have fun with this, Brian. The whole idea is to help others and get them to Wellville. And also to solidify your awareness, to become awake again, to quit chasing your desires and your mind and your thoughts. Quit chasing those things. Wake up and have some fun for a while. Get free of your desires for a while. Look around. You'll see how much fun you can have doing that. The word is freedom. You're free when you don't nail yourself down with thoughts and desires. Now, this is, please can anyone help my son's fingertips are peeling and look sore. Does anyone know what this is? Well, it's true that your son could have a lot of fungus in him. It's possible, what would that mean? That would mean that his adrenal glands were down, his kidneys were down, but I can tell you if this is a young man, they're down anyway. Genetically speaking, I don't believe there's going to be any children born that doesn't have a certain degree of kidney and adrenal weakness, if not a lot. And therefore, what system does that affect? The lymphatic system. So all of that is you're starting to see the lymph system and what happens with acids and things like this. No difference than you ladies that are using lotions on your hands and stuff. After a while, they start splitting and bleeding and peeling like that. It just shows a sign of toxicity and stagnation of sewage, and you just have to fix those things, you know. So you get the young man on a fruit diet, should be anyway. Make him smart. That's a problem. You get too smart in today's school system, they don't know how to deal with you. I tell you what, I was watching Fox News the other night, and I like this medical doctor. Can't remember his name, but he wasn't an oncologist, although he was the head of the board of some hospital or something. But he was talking about how everybody has cells in their body, and we've been saying this for years. You can feel it in your own world, where you have pain in an area for a while. You know you got acids going on in there. You know that you could have some damage being done in there from not moving your lymph system properly. But your body heals these things. And so he was saying, you know, all this hype on trying to get rid of cancer cells, he says that the body in its own work gets rid of these cells or regenerates them. And I've told you this before, we get a lot of the atypical cells from a pap smear with females, vaginally speaking. Easy to turn those cells around. And so your body either turns cells around if given the opportunity. If you change the medium from which you're breaking them down in, your terrain, but then it will then take them through the macrophage chain to the lymph nodes, etc., etc., etc. So it's just a natural process. You have to understand most people are having problems because they treated their problems. Now they have problems from the treatment. And now we've talked a lot about this now that man's into the chronic and degenerative levels. Pharmaceuticals are having more fatal events than ever before. And you can't keep running down that pasture. I want to thank, who sent me this, LouRockwell.com, anti-state, anti-war, pro-market. Yeah, I like what you said about the U.S. Supreme Court and the First Amendment. This is why this association we're trying to put together is so important. Florida just raided a bunch of naturopaths and healers in Florida and fined them and stuff. We need to sue the state of Florida big time. I would like to sue the state of Florida and make this the first example to the states of what you don't do anymore to the folk. You know, and that's what this association's for, is to back you guys and practitioners legally. So it's going to be tied with a membership fee, because it's the only way we can afford to pay our attorneys and stuff. But it'll be good protection, because the FDA's got to step back on this. I'm glad you sent me this. I appreciate that. I'm very much a constitutionalist. I follow all this stuff. I'd like to know more about the birth certificate, if it works, the certificate of live birth, and how that is. Because we have to find the jurisdiction that states are using to claim that child services can steal your children and juice them. And the same thing with the vaccinations. You see how bad it's getting. It's not getting better in somewheres, it's getting worse. In other places, it's getting better. But these states have to pay a price for forcing your children into toxic substances to be administered. This is old. I don't even want the word because I don't want to assault anybody. But it reminds me of the old Nazi Germany thinking, where you know. Oh, I don't know. It's a sick thing that's going on here. Florida's got the same thing, no shots, no school. And it's like, oh, would I love to go after that. I'm chewing on that. We showed you the pictures. You know, it's not just the ADD. It's the seizures, and it's all the other stuff. And we showed you pictures of babies post-vaccinations of how they turned all black and what else has happened to them. Matter of fact, there's this one lady's story. I forgot her stuff at home. I was reading it last night. The lady that had second and third degree burns from a pharmaceutical. I mean, these are the stories you don't hear out there. And these are the stories that need to be told. So this is the sort of thing that your children can run into. As a rule, you don't see too much of that, but nowadays you're going to see more and more of that. Imagine your little baby you just brought home from the hospital, and they're juicing with toxic chemicals that have made a lot of babies hyperactive, done a lot of babies into seizures, had a lot of babies go into liver failure on it. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And you have no control over that? What kind of world do we live in? And this is why this has to be stopped. These are narcissistic elitists who think for some reason, that's why this is very important. These people have to be stopped. They're a threat to the upliftment of man and the threat to national securities and stuff of people. Absolutely. They think that we're a threat. They're a big threat to us. This is Crohn's disease. This is from Kelly. I enjoy your informative videos and have put so much of the information in them to practice. Thank you, my dear one. As a result, I've had a significant positive difference in my physical and mental health. Yeah, that's what this is about. It's about you go and get your body healthy and having some fun. People on this planet are not having fun enough and not enjoying each other enough. They're killing each other instead of enjoying each other. And it's all turned around. Of course, they want to tax you to death and steal your money, steal your kids. I mean, it's out of control, so this has to be stopped. Either we stop it through conscious awareness and stuff like this, or the planet detoxifies itself. Either way, it doesn't matter because we're all just visitors. My brother, let me see here. One of your students, I won't mention any names, introduced me to your practices. Oh, that was nice. I see her weekly for massage therapy and yoga and have consulted with her on detox. What a difference she has made as well. See, you guys, this is what it's all about. And I get a lot of this, how you guys are helping people out there. Is there no better thrill than to see a fellow, a being coming out of misery and enjoying themselves? I mean, that's good stuff, guys. You know, we need to infuse that positive awareness into this. Get away from this negative stuff. P-E-L-E, huh? Shin. Interesting. Excuse me. My brother is now 57, was diagnosed with Crohn's when he was just 28. You know, the longer you ride with acids burning your tissues, the more serious these things become. And that's the sad thing about these too, is thank God a lot of you are just riding and going with these things because you'll get your wellness here. And the importance of this, because again, years of acid burning in the body doesn't yield anything pretty or nice, and some very deep problems. So you have to work these things out. And you can make it fun doing it. Now, I understand those that are trapped in the body and like advanced MS cases and things like this. I get that. Learn how to body travel. Learn to free yourself from your body, number one. Number two, regenerate that human body. That's the only two actual focuses that are worthy of any of your attention. Everything else is just sitting and enjoying the view, which ain't much. Okay, at one time he carried his weight around 180 pounds and was one of the fastest high school track sprinters in the U.S. Well, he gets his diet cleaned up and gets this inflammation, this lymph all out of the walls of the gut, get his adrenals up there. He might just see some magic going on in terms of sprinting. Let me tell you, the endurance levels, the speed levels, the flexibility levels, I mean, you can't even, it is unbelievable where you can go with this. It's good stuff. Now almost 30 years and some 40 surgeries later, oh my God. You see how this is all messed up? But if you don't want to change your diet, this is what the kind of things you have to deal with. You know, it's just that simple. Now, almost 30 years and four surgeries later, he is down to under 105 pounds. Ooh, and I fear he is giving up. Well, that's the problem. When you try to treat things you don't understand, you get worse. And that's the problem. The medical community has to step back and re-examine their focus. It is so off point. It's just hurting so many people, and it's allowing people to stay with their problems year in and year out with false hope that there's going to be some magic that's going to come down the road. Can't, because their thinking is all wrong. So you're waiting for a pharmaceutical company to discover some magic pill that's going to clean up your Crohn's or whatever it is, and never exists and never will exist. This is a major flood problem, and you can't clear it up with pharmaceuticals. They've tried. The problem is it creates more suppression, dehydration, and then an acceleration of your problems. Can't do any of those things. I questioned him about his diet, and it does not appear he has been set to allow his body to heal or much less function. First of all, he's got to get his lymph system going. Get the adrenal glands up, get his kidneys filtering. That is prima facie. You don't do that, you don't get anything done. That's number one. Get your kidneys filtering. And get those adrenals up. Now you got more steroids. You've got a filtration of these acids out. Now start work with the GI broom, the stomach and bowels. Use anti-inflammatories of herbs. We got plenty of them. If you have low blood pressure, use licorice root. It's helpful. Marshmallow root, slippery elm, or just our stomach and bowel formulas are soothing to the mucosa. Get that gooky stuff in the aloe vera, soothing and healing to the mucosa. The bones formula, healing and soothing to the mucosa, or any other tissue as far as that's concerned. But you've got to get your lymph moving. Without that, you're just trying to throw stuff in there, and that's rarely successful. You can get feeling better at times, but we want cures, we want remedies, we want our health back. We don't sit there and feel a little better. No, he mentioned he is eating hamburgers. Well, just what that lady pulled off of there. You don't change your diet, enjoy your suffering. And it's more than suffering, because the next thing is resections, bowel resection. Have to go in and cut this out. Well, that isn't fun. And it might be an easy remedy for some, but then you got all the complication of that. Scar tissue, adhesions in the bowels, blocking your bowels, and then back in another. It goes on and on and on. He mentioned he is eating hamburger, hot sauce on foods, yogurt, bread, and jelly, to name a few. Well, unless he gets this, he's going to enjoy his Crohn's for quite a while. Matter of fact, with doing all this, there is no coming out of it. You can't come out of it with foods like this. This actually inspires it. He claims he cannot eat fruit or veggies as they pass right through him quickly and cause diarrhea. But you eat the shit that causes cancer. You eat the proteins and the dairies that causes mucus and causes this problem. But then you don't want to eat the other that fixes the problem. Well, there's a way to fix that diarrhea, my friend. How about that one? If fruits start to purge you and clean you, that's just what they're doing. Okay, but if you're too much diarrhea, there's plenty. You go out and buy bentonite clay and charcoal, or we have formulas here to slow you down. There's always a way if you have the will. If you don't want better, enjoy your Crohn's. Who cares? It's your life, your world. But if you want to fix it, there's a way to fix this, and then you're done suffering, and the future won't be what it's going to be if you don't fix it. And for those of you that have Crohn's, you know what the future is. I know that he takes medication for pain and has for years. Well, there goes the nervous system and the liver probably. So you got all these things you're hurting when you can fix this in a few months and you're done. I believe there are diagnosed moderate to severe liver and gallbladder problems as well. Goes with it. Same system's down, but then you're hitting pain meds, which is going to rip your liver anyway. So you want to fix this or not. This is a fixer site, so fix this up. Get your kidneys moving, get your adrenals up, go on your lymphatic formulas, clean your bowels out. Go down this road of detox, and you'll be done with this, man. Whoever's writing this, Kelly, let this man see this video if you want, but you either fix it or enjoy your suffering. That's it. That's my philosophy totally. And it's not just suffering, because the next word is cancer, the next word is resections, and you go on and on and on down that world. Not a good world. You don't put protein in the body. You're talking about fruits making you diarrhea. Who cares? You're talking about the very foods that creates Crohn's is the very food you're eating. Foods is chemistry, and you've got to understand that. And the funny thing about it is there's only two sides to chemistry. How easy is that? This is from Carol. My terrier suffers from extreme subborea? Misspelling, I don't know how you spell it either. Aggravated by allergies to grains. Is there anything that will cure this? We both suffer when he scratches all night, I bet. How interesting is it if grains are so healthy? How interesting is it that Purina and all the dog chow manufacturers are dumping the grains? Matter of fact, you go into any upscale animal shop, pet store, grain-free, all this stuff like that. And when there was a day, grains were the great things. And look what it did. Look what it did to our dogs. I tell you what, you want to detoxify your dog and clean them up a little bit. So you can give them a stomach and bowel formula. If the dog's pooping pretty good, give them a number 1. At the same time, you can give them a little lymphatic one, kidney one, parasite M. You might want to give adrenal or endocrine gland too to kick that up a little bit. Clean the lymph system out of your dog a little bit. They need help. When they're been on grains and stuff like this is very mucus-forming foods and stuff, and so it clogs their lymph systems. They don't have the sweat glands we do, so they start getting little tumors popping up all over their skins and stuff. And this is all the lymph system. So you want to be real careful here. Detoxify your little baby and get him back. But those are the things. You just get, and one of these bottles will last you forever, but you want to take one of your empty herb bottles and then mix you equal parts of each one of these herbs. One of the lymphatic one, you can use liquids. So you can do lymphatic one liquid, kidney one tincture, parasite M tincture, endocrine gland tincture. And if you want to pop up the adrenals, throw that in there with the endos too, so you get a little more punch to the adrenals. Put equal amounts in the same bottle, and when you go to administer it, you can figure you've got, say, 4 formulas in there, and a little terrier, you're probably only going to do about 5 drops per one. So you figure that up. You got 4 different formulas in there at 5 droppers, so that's 20 drops that you want. So you want to shake it up really good and give your little dog 20 drops. Count that out in the mouth, and you're done. And work on detoxifying them. That'll also help with the fleas and everything else as well. And get the dog more to vegetables and fruits. If your dog likes vegetables or fruits, give them as much vegetables as fruits as they like. Get into your organic raw food stuff for them. Even now, even Pet Supermarket I was in the other day, and they've got all raw now in there. And high-quality raw products, excellent stuff. Online, there's all kinds of high-quality dog foods and stuff that are raw and stuff. Man's really starting to care more. Thank you. At least about his animals. Now we got to start caring for each other more, right? This is Rashette. Rashette. What are your recommendations for endometriosis? Thank you for all the information. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Get rid of it. And I mean get rid of it. This is the kind of, it's all the same stuff. All this acid mucus stuff like this. And I tell you, it is so acidic that it can weld your uterus to your bowel wall. So there's only one way to get rid of endometriosis. And that is to detoxify. In the endometrium, all through, everywhere, you have blood and lymph vessels. Matter of fact, I was just reading another thing on the pipes they found in the brain. How interesting. Now, more and more it's catching on. They're realizing that the lymph system was actually piggyback the vascular system. And it's just more and more and more. Your guys are going to be ahead of the pack in understanding the lymph system, because the one thing they haven't found, well, several things, and that is the lymphatic at the base of the spine and how it all feeds to the kidneys. When they find that, then, and you guys are already going to be knowing that and way down the road and helping others. Cool stuff. But yeah, you want to get into the kidneys and adrenals, because you can be popping ovarian cysts can come and go. Fibroids are just another step of this. Also, it can reach up and grab the breast, fibrocystic breast. I mean, so you really want to detoxify the uterus. It wouldn't be bad if you did some Heal All tea. Made yourself some tea every night and douched with it. Get in a bathtub, lift your hips up, insert your douche and get it in there and hold it up in there and clean yourself a little bit. Do it for about 2 weeks. Not that you can reach up into the uterus with this, but at least it'll clean the vaginal cavities and get to the cervix and stuff. With your getting the kidneys and everything moving and filtering, then it'll clean the uterine wall and stuff, and everything will start cleaning up good. But you want to do this now. You don't want to keep this stuff in the body because it just gets worse and worse. And I can tell you, especially with the females, it's no fun going through hysterectomies and stuff when you don't have to. And what can happen, of course, with endometriosis is just, basically gluing your uterus to your bowels. That's not fun either in surgery. So important to get this out here now. It's all lymph. That has nothing to do with blood. I've been a student of Arnold Ehret and Professor Hotema, Hilton Hotema. I call him Professor Hotema. George Clements. Over the years, me too. Love those guys. Yeah, nice to meet you. I know that you have referenced both of them from time to time as being in line with your viewpoints. Yeah, not so much George or Professor Hotema in terms of spirituality, but I love those guys because they were very much into Immaculate Conception, very much into spirituality, but not the level that, different levels, that's all. But cool guys. Him and, not McFadden, but Raymond Bernard. These two always battled over fruitarianism, breatharianism, and Immaculate Conception, energetic conception. Interesting stuff. These are higher esoteric metaphysical thinkers. Of course, when you're on Raw, you tend to be more esoteric in your thinking anyway because it's energy. Energy is consciousness. And it just the more you energize, the more you uplift, the more you awake yourself, just what happens. And you're all doing a great job at that. And so this is good stuff. He was just a good guy. Matter of fact, it was Professor Hotema that his love of the orange gave me a love of the orange. And that's why I did my fasting on oranges as long as I did as Professor Hotema. I've enjoyed the messages you share and now consider you to be up there. Oh, thanks. I love you, man. I know that Ehret and Hotema both felt that the nutrition theory is a myth and that the human body is really sustained by the air that we breathe. Exactly. I mean, there's all kinds of thought like that. I don't get too much on this channel because it's hard enough getting people to the concept of raw and the fruit at all. And of course, the other is, of course, the electrical changes of minerals in the ground. Why would the tree use up the minerals in the ground when it only needs the electrical charge? See, there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of deeper thought to energetic exchanges and stuff that, that surface chemistry and surface physics don't get to. So there's just a lot out there. And of course, we don't know nothing, really. So, I love this touting of chemistry and physics when we really don't know much compared to the all of it all. But it's kind of fun battering around, I guess. I tell you, this new Yeti thermos, I've had ice for 3 days in this thing. Holy crap. Yeah, interesting you say that too. I wrote an article about what's like that in Eckankar. We had a monthly magazine and they said, oh, we can't publish this. It's way too out there. So they wouldn't publish it, but I wrote an article in reference to the energetic changes, magnetic changes of substances as opposed to actually giving up its body. But, fragrances of flowers, etc., right on. Everything has a reason, even the smells of things, and that's important for one to think of. The color of it, the smell of it, all is geared to that individuality of that, whatever it is, whether it's a plant, a flower, a fruit, or whatever. There's a specific action to it. That's why we get into chemistry and looking at actions and indications and things like this. It's all cool stuff. Whether one really needs to know mechanically all of that stuff, it's a brain teaser. You know, when you really get into biochemistry and you get into subatomic particles, and there's only so far you can go there anyway, and then how those subatomic particles work with energetic influences or the van der Waals and all the stuff that deal with the magnetic potentials and the effect of these potentials and blah, 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 blah. But the average person, it's unnecessary to have this kind of information because it just clogs your mind. Keeping it simple is the beautiful part of this. If your practitioners want to get a little deep, go ahead. But if you start to put it on your clients, then you'll lose them. And you know, it's not about the id anyway. It's getting them to understand the simplicity of your understanding and the fact that they can engage in this level of activity and find their remedy, something that they've been eluding them for a long time. And of course, there's many of you, as I said earlier, that time to leave this area. So make this your last lifetime. Sew up your stuff. Get yourself free. You know, that's when you have the most fun, and life is really then changes for you. It's when you care that it rips you apart. I've often heard you speak of nutrition, malabsorption, and vitamins. Are you a believer in the theory of nutrition obtained from food? Randy, I am a little bit. I am in terms of the electrical side of it, not the chemical side of it, because really it's all about the electrical side anyway. It's all about consciousness anyway. Hard to define that. I have tried myself to become a breatharian, and I'm going to tell you, it's a rough way to go. I mean, energetically, it's not like a starvation type thing. This is an energetic type thing. Amazing. So I couldn't know what to say. Johnny Love Wisdom, I know, tried that. Of course, I don't know if he's still around, but he's way out there. I mean, way out there. But these are just people way back in my day that went way out there. We all wanted to go breatharian, fruitarian. How high can you go? I mean, when you look and sit around and you say, oh, I want to go and I'll go ski out there. Well, for me, activity is okay, physical movement okay. I'm not into sports, things like that, because these are games. Okay, I get it. You really want to get it. Let's just talk about the universe and traveling into different realms, and there's a lot higher fun things to do than moving the physical body around all the time. And it's okay, you know, and it's limited to what you can experience here. But when you get yourself free, it's basically unlimited. So it's just but I am about consumption of energy. The problem is we have to get up to the foods that leave the less chemical residues and have the highest yield of energy. And that, of course, is why I'm at the fruits and berries and the melons. Because your yield is less chemical and more electrical. And that's where it's at. You know, without electrical, we're down there. I mean, looking at the magnetics of foods, you know, we talked about this before, where fruit have about 12,000 units or levels of energetic frequencies it gives off, where vegetables only have around 9. Cook those, and you're around 1,000. So knowing that to have energy, consciousness is the feeder of that, but also the exchange of energy from body to body is vital. And so when you cook your food, you literally destroy the energy. And actually, remember, even with the understanding of this sort of thing you're talking about, Randy, is laws of physics and its impact on us. And we can't get beyond those as well. So getting more into physics is where this would be at, which is where I'm more at. But I'm more into the quantum side of physics. Because the main physics is as constipated as organic chemistry. These guys are constipated. They can't go outside of their thinking. They're running on theories, massive theories in chemistry, and I don't know what to tell you about it. We want actualities. We want what's worse. We're not feeling good. We want to be better. We don't care how many electrons move across the border into other elements. You know, that the exchange of electrons and ionizations and all. We don't need to know all those things. But we're going to have a little more of that in level 2, just to get a little deeper in how you see the waxing and waning of pHs and positive and negative forces. And as you work yourself into the higher levels of understanding it, it's better. When you get into the nano levels, nobody understands them. You get into theories, and it doesn't matter anyway. You can't fix it from that level. You have to be at a higher level to fix things, and this is a good level to be at. But boy, Randy, appreciate the feedback. Love the comments. Absolutely. Love Ehret. Who wouldn't? and Professor Hotema, such a guy. There's so many of those guys, but I will say that I'll maybe back up with that. There wasn't a lot of them, but there was George Clements here, Raymond Bernard McFadden. There was just some guys up there that were exceptional in their search and discovery of the truth of foods and electricity and things like that. Some things appear to be one way and they're not. So even though we're talking one way for Randy's idea, it's a much higher level of understanding of why we even eat in the first place, and is that necessary. So if you got into that level of thinking, you would have to back up and say, everything happens for a purpose. Then why did man migrate out of the tropics? And why does man suffer so much? And that was the way it was supposed to. So when you get to look at this, and then you start to understand that now we're starting to pull in the higher level of spiritual people, which can bring about more awareness of this electrical and this higher level of how God runs its worlds. Maybe I can put it that way, kind of a way to look at it, maybe. And so it's just another level out there. And I hate to, I know there's different levels on this YouTube site of ours, but these are the exciting levels for me, because when you're dealing more in energetic light body, think of Cocoon. Remember the movie Cocoon? Mm-hmm. Where the light bodies had to take on physical bodies, so you could actually accept them. Consider you guys the light bodies taking on a physical body so you can communicate and experience here. But you're really light. That's who you really are, is energy. You're not a form that you can put your finger on. Forms are bodies. And that's what reduces your formlessness into something that you can manage. But your awareness, that's formless. Consciousness awareness is formless. That's why only quantum physics is actually the level that can understand this from a physical science viewpoint. But, I love this level of thinking and all kinds of stuff. Cool stuff. Why do we need to burn anything when we just need the electrical exchanges? Interesting stuff. But again, electrical changes would all be leveled frequencies and states of consciousness. So in that is just another level of chemicals the same way. Everything is a level of consciousness that has an effect. Same thing, it's just more mundane, and more mundane. Or if you go the other way, more finer, more expansive, less finite, less formed. Two questions. All right. One, I have teeth root resorption, 3 teeth, because of wrong manipulation from the dentist. Ooh. When having teeth retainers. Ooh, that's too bad. They told me that 3 of my teeth were dead because the nerves connected to them were dead. Is there any chance to grow again these nerves? Boy, I'd try. I would try. So you would be on upper circ and brain and nerve, at least number 2. All right? Upper circ and brain and nerve. Now to help that, even though this sounds wild to you, you want to detox the body. What would slow your ability to turn on those nerves again? Your lymph system. And how acidic are you? That's the difference between people that can regenerate teeth enamel or not. People can regenerate the gums or not. Regenerate the bone, the TM&J or not. You got to go to causative factors. Look at chemistry and physics in this sort of thing, as we've been talking about here, the acid, the base, all the acids and how that affects regeneration. It actually pulls you toward the world of degeneration and the world of the cations and the cationic effects of the whole thing of dehydration and burning and the loss of calcium, but also the loss of nerves. So you'd want a high fruit and berry and melon diet for sure, because this is a neurological thing you're trying to inspire. I find it quite interesting, though, that just doing that killed those nerves and that you haven't seen a rebuild of those nerves, because nerves rebuild like anything else, unless you're on a very low-frequency diet. A low-frequency diet would be a heavy meat diet. and dairy products. Those would be very low frequency diets, a lot of cooked foods, very few raw foods. You can't regenerate anything with that diet. Matter of fact, that's a degeneration diet. So, you'd have to do everything appropriately, but upper circulation, brain, and nerve would be my two choices. Moving blood more aggressively into you could actually do upper and lower circulation and brain and nerve too to inspire more nerve function and that. You'd also want to look at those adrenal glands for neurotransmitters and just bringing that up as well. So systemically, you're all over fixing and inspiring nerve. I'm sure you can get that nerve factor back in those teeth. But are you going to lose the teeth before that? Maybe not. I mean, if the limp's still moving in there, that could be good. And number 2, I am on diet on melons, berries, fruits most of the time, and some greens here and there. But I noticed that some of the teeth in the back of my mouth are becoming sensitive to brushing. Any idea why? Thanks, man. I don't know. I mean, you could be giving some gum exposure, things like that. Because remember, when you're looking at this whole thing, what acids are doing to the gums makes the gums recede, all these sort of things. And so you're exposing now what's there. Going on a raw diet doesn't lose things like this. It rebuilds things, but it does expose what's going on there. So maybe that's what's going on. Check your parathyroid. Go on the bones formula for a little while. That also helps to regenerate and work on that way. Just a couple more. And then I'll... Valentina, hello, love your videos. Thanks, man, I appreciate that. Well, we sit here and go over it, but hopefully there's a lot of good information to help you guys get your health back and have some fun and then take off spiritually, man. What have we got to lose? The planet's a little bit of a hellhole right now. I have an appointment with Elizabeth Duponte on September 2nd. I have a left breast tumor that I refused biopsy. Besides that, I have been diagnosed with peripheral artery disease. PAD, huh? I'm always cold, and I have like a swelling in my left knee. Also, purple spot on my feet, legs that come and go depending upon the temperature. It is 78 degrees, and up my legs are white. If it's 75-ish, 70, everything cool my legs, purple. But if I lay in bed at night, my legs white in the morning. Holy moly. All right, well, let's talk about this. First of all, you've got a left breast tumor. That means that left kidney obviously isn't filtering well. So, obviously, you've got to go after this. But in going after this, you're going to go after your circulation too. Now, here's one of the things that I'm real careful about. When there's tumors, I don't use circulation formulas except for upper, unless there's a tumor in the brain. And my fear, because remember, a tumor is nothing but a pocket of fluid. What kind of fluid do you think's in a tumor? Interstitial fluid. And interstitial fluid is the fluid that flows around all the cells. And if that tumor encases cells, then the cells will burn up. But this fluid, interstitial fluid, is 20% blood and 80% lymph. And that's about what you see in most tumors. If a tumor has a blood supply to it because of that, then a tumor can be fed that way a little bit just from blood feeding interstitially without a doorway out. So I'm real cautious about doing circulation formulas when there's tumors. It's just been a thing in my thinking. But you want to hit your lymph system big time. Go after that. Get those kidneys filtered. Get this tumor out of there. I respect the biopsy thing. No sense in biopsying. It's a tumor. It's got to come out one way or another. You come back. You always have to fix this the right way. No matter what you ladies do, you have your lumpectomies, or you have a black salve removal, or you have a mastectomy. Either way, you ladies still have to fix this, because you'll grow another tumor on the chest wall or in the lungs. You want to fix this filtration problem no matter what, right? Now, depends on the tumor, what it looks like. The bigger, the harder, the deeper, darker, redder, not pretty. Don't like that. Of course, you've seen pictures of things we don't like here. We don't like them like this. We don't like them like that. It's horrible. I feel so sorry for people like that. That's why we're here. So, important that you get this peripheral artery disease. I'll have to tell you, this is probably more lymphatic suppression of blood flow than actually occlusions of the vascular system. With a tumor like this, it would be much easier to understand that you have peripheral artery disease, if they're going to call it that. That's ridiculous. But it's enough to say that it's probably lymph-oriented. But you would use lower and upper circulation formulas to help move blood more aggressively, no question about that. You'd also use lymph because lymph is what swells you and impresses. Case in point, the knee swelling. And again, this is all about acids in your kidneys. So let's look at that again here. Always cold, of course. That's your thyroid gland. So you can blame the blood flow, but I would definitely check my basals and make sure my body temperature is up close to 98. All right, that's number one. You can use circulation formulas to inspire circulation around the body, no question. You can do a pinch of organic cayenne pepper, usually only about 25,000 heat units. Just a pinch and maybe some lemon juice. If you really want to go after that circulation, let's just say it was occlusions, which my guess that this is a lymphatic occlusion. Lemon juice with a pinch of cayenne pepper does real well for circulation. Matter of fact, fruits, berries, and melons are the circulation foods of the planet. You want to improve your circulation, open up your arteries. Fruits, berries, and melons far over vegetables. But left knee swelling again. Remember that? Look at the left knee, left breast. It's all on your left side there. And again, that goes back to that left kidney. And you can't fix these until you fix your left kidney. So work on the kidneys, the adrenal glands, your GI tract. Get in there and clean yourself up. Go on the 14-week protocol, whatever you can afford. Purple spots on all this stuff, all the white legs and all, it's all going to come and go. But you want to get in, clean your bowels out, get your kidneys filtering, get this tumor out of the breast. If you have to pull it out with a black salve or something, you can get help here with that. But, excuse me, it's enough to say, though, you have to get this tumor out. Better to get it out the right way. I don't know how big it is or the problems with it, but if you need our help, get this out of there, okay? Very important to get this out of there. Quick question, for severe spider and varicose veins, I have been on 10 milligrams of parathyroid. I think 10 milligrams are too, we have new ones coming. We're having them made for us again, but we're having them up to 50 milligrams because this 10 isn't enough in my opinion. We're playing around with 150 thyroids, but we're only playing around with 10 milligrams? No, I think we need more like 50. I've been looking a lot at this. So I think you ought to up that probably make it 20 milligrams 3 times a day. Also, I'd probably do the Bones formula with that, to give you that extra calcium with that. If in recent video, Dr. Morse suggested higher doses. He said in his last video he was going 50 million exactly. Do I know? You know what? Try 2-3 times a day because we have seen people pull them in on these low dosages. But I would do 2 of them 3 times a day with the Bones formula or the superfood blend, which is major calcium, and see pulling that in. At the same time now, circulation. Use lower circulation. Very good, very good. It's strengthening up. And of course, with the fruits and the berries and melons, the flavonoids. That's what you're after, high flavonoid foods. And that's your fruits, your berries, and your melons again, particularly your berries. And that's very good. It's strengthening. So, Teresa, you can get that all set up and you'll be good, and that'll pull those in there. Good catch on that, though. Good catch. Well, I'm going to finish this. Is organic MSM beneficial? I don't recommend MSM at all. I don't recommend supplements like that at all. I do. Unless we're talking about something different. Here's another quick one. What's wrong with cinnamon? I love cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Aids digestion. It soothes. That sort of thing. Inspires circulation. Helps the blood sugar. I love cinnamon. Myself, I love the taste of it. So we'll get back and finish more videos this afternoon. So I'm just going to turn this off for now, and then I'll come back and get some more done with you. Well, I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and helping yourselves. You guys are getting so smart, and you guys are getting your health back, and it's totally exciting. And thanks, Randy. A pleasure to meet someone that knows, studied Professor Hotema and Ehret as well. I love all those guys. These are guys that came out and they led the way. And there's a lot of natural hygienic docs too. Sheldon, Tilden. These guys were pace setters and trend setters. Unfortunately, it's just trying to go back and get our diet the way it should be. But love you guys. See you in the next video.